This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 660, How to Give Like a Billionaire, by J.L. Collins of jlcollinsnh.com. And I am Dan, your host and narrator of some of the best blogs on personal finance. And hey, we always like to hear from you. What's on your mind and what topic requests do you have for us? If you have an idea for a future show, come share it at oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com. And before we get to today's post, if you want to connect with a bunch of like-minded people, including some of us hosts in the Old Podcast family, and be entered into bonus book raffles, all you should do is come follow us on Instagram. You can find us at Old Podcast. But for now, let's get to today's post as we start optimizing your life. How to Give Like a Billionaire by J.L. Collins of jlcollinsnh.com. I know what you're thinking. For some time now, you've been wondering what exactly Mr. and Mrs. J.L. Collins NH have in common with Bill and Melinda Gates. Here it is. We both have charitable foundations. Now you're thinking, I knew it. J.L. Collins NH is a billionaire. In this, you'd be, sadly, I must say, mistaken. More monk than minister, I'm afraid. We talk a lot on this blog about investing and building your own FU money stash. Very little time is spent on, spending it. Since we personally don't much care for owning things, we've not much to say. We like travel. We do spend on that. Sending our daughter to college is money well spent, as she is so thoroughly embracing the experience. But the money we've spent that has provided us with the most pure pleasure is that which we've been privileged to give away. In fact, I can specifically pinpoint the $1,200 that has given us the most satisfaction return of all. I hesitate telling this story as it will be easy to read it as bragging when it's only meant to illustrate. Hope you take it in that spirit. Many years ago, we attended a charitable auction held by the Catholic grammar school our daughter then attended. We had always been impressed with the teachers and the Mother Superior who ran the place. One of our favorite local restaurants was Parker's. Parker's had donated for auction a gourmet dinner for 10. On the spur of the moment, we decided to win it and gift it to the school's teachers. Bidding was spirited, but as the amounts reached the actual cost of dinner for 10 at Parker's, the competition dropped off. At around $1,200, we were the winners. When I gifted it to the Mother Superior, I also gave her 2 obligations. First, she would have to choose which 10 of the about 15 teachers would get to go. Second, she herself would have to attend. See, we know this Mother Superior and needed to head off her selfless ways. When word spread, a couple of very interesting things happened. Parker stepped up and expanded his donation to dinner for 15, so everyone got to go. Another bidder offered to foot the bill for the wine. Well, you know what happens when you mix fine food, wine, and Catholic school teachers. Let's just say a good time was had by all and leave it at that. In addition to personal pleasure, one of the benefits of charitable giving is the tax deduction. Of course, to gain this benefit, you must itemize your deductions on your tax return. But if you have less than $11,600, married and filing jointly, $5,600 if single, in itemized deductions, you are better off taking the standard deduction and saving yourself the effort. 5 or 6 years ago, it occurred to me that 2 life changes were coming down the pike that would affect my personal tax situation. We were planning to sell the house, and I was planning to retire. Without the house and its associated deductible costs, we'd no longer be itemizing. Upon retiring, I'd be in a lower tax bracket. But these things would be lowering the tax advantage of charitable giving. The solution? The J.J. Collins Charitable Fund. If you've been reading this blog much, you already know I'm a big fan of Vanguard. So it should be no surprise that in setting up our foundation, we use the Vanguard Charitable Endowment Program. Here's why. You don't have to be a billionaire. You can open your own foundation with as little as $25,000, fancy building not included. You get the tax deduction in the year you fund your foundation, so I got to take the tax benefits when they mattered most to me. If you have stocks or mutual funds or other assets that have appreciated in value, you can move these directly into your charitable foundation. You get the tax deduction for their full market value, and you don't have to pay any capital gains taxes on the gain. Double tax win and more money for your charities. You can choose a variety of investment options so your donation grows tax-free while waiting for you to allocate it. You decide what charities receive your money, how much, and when. You can set this up to happen automatically. You can add more money to your foundation whenever you choose. Because it is run through Vanguard, expenses are rock bottom. Now I can tell unwanted solicitors, we only give through our foundation. Please send us your written proposal. We've gotten exactly 0 proposals. It keeps our personal names off the list some charities sell to future solicitors. In addition to the tax advantages this offers, it also plays into some of my conclusions regarding charitable giving. It is best to concentrate your giving. We have selected 2 charities. Giving small donations to many charities might be satisfying to you, but it dilutes the impact and a greater percent of your gift is eaten up in the processing of it. Many small donations also gets you on many mailing lists. Never give to phone solicitors. The more I see a charity advertising, the less likely I am to believe they are focused on delivering my cash to those they claim to serve. And you need to do your homework. In addition to scams, lots of charities simply aren't very efficient in delivering your dollars to those in need. You can check them out at charitynavigator.org. There's also something to be said for giving outside the traditional and tax-deductible places. Helping your friends and neighbors directly isn't deductible, but it has immediate benefits all around. This is something I'll be trying to do more of in the coming years. Finally, while giving is a fine and pleasant thing, no one has an obligation to do so. Anyone who tells you differently is trying to sell you something, most likely the idea of giving to them and/or their pet projects. As individuals, we only have one obligation to society, to make sure we and our children are not a burden to others. The rest is our personal choice. Make your own and make the world a far more interesting place. You just listened to the post titled How to Give Like a Billionaire by J.L. Collins of jlcollinsnh.com. And one more time before we go, you can be a part of book raffles, see pictures of all of us hosts, and more by searching for Old Podcast on Instagram and give us a follow. We'd love to see you there. And that'll do it for another installment of Optimal Finance Daily. Have a happy Friday and a great weekend. Thanks so much as always for being here, and I will see you on Monday, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.